He's not going to get worked up there. And the more worked up he gets, the harder your job is going to be. And then it's a whole different level of horsemanship you need to deal with a horse that's upset than it is to deal with one that's just taking a little bit pushy. So without getting into all kinds of stuff that you can open a big can of worms, and it's not always that wise to do. But mostly it's just trying to change perception. If he's had a bad experience with a horse, he's had the foot dropped, he's been in a wrestling match with that other hind leg, he's going to expect that to happen again the next time. And as you guys learn to be around and under all these different types of horses, you're still struggling with the awkward factor as awkward. Once you've been at it for a while, it'll still be awkward, but it'll be a normal awkward. And it will just be weird until it's not. And that's just lots of horses. But your ability to adapt and move, which is why, we're so twisted. Good job, buddy. Because if you can't adapt to him, he won't adapt to you. And he's got nice long legs. He's got, he's easy to get under. Boy. And so he's not that difficult. But he could get to be really difficult really quickly if he were more annoying. Sometimes, when I have him here in a position where he's not totally happy, I want him to be involved. I'm willing to say, hey, it's only you, not me. I'm not worried about you. Because if you treat him like he's a machine, and he's not allowed to look, he's not allowed to smell, he's not allowed to touch, pretty soon he's gonna, what am I allowed to do? And then you get owners that also get stressed because they're worried the horse is gonna get in trouble because the horse is tense and I'm grumpy, and pretty quickly, the horse flinches and I elbow him, the owner gets upset and the horse feeds off of that, and I'm pissed off at you because you haven't taught your horse. Pretty quickly, we have a very intense situation that was totally avoidable. Just either I can give you some skills to work along with him to help him relax. If he were being a totally rude dude, maybe we would do a little bit more in order to teach him to be less pushy. But like I say, you have to be willing and prepared to finish what you start. And sometimes it's easier not to start. And that it's always a fine line. The more experience you have, for years when I was training, I felt obligated to fix everything that came up. And now I haven't been training for quite a while, and I feel a lot less inclined to fix things that are irrelevant to me. But what I am worried about is the safety factor. If it's not safe for me, it's not going to be safe for my apprentices. And if it's not safe for me, how do I expect an owner with a lot less horse experience to be safe to teach it? So, it's one of those things that, your experience and your skill level and the types of horses and the types of people you get exposed to and work with, they will mold who you are as a horse person. But if you find that your energy level is getting wound up, you're generally going in the wrong direction, and you need to find a way to calm it down. Sometimes just doing that is enough. You know what, take a deep breath. I find some of the tricks that I use, and I'll use probably more on this little dude, are to encourage them just to mentally relax, not even related to their feet, but just in terms of coping with stress, because they all have different coping mechanisms. As soon as you take away his ability to lead, cross ties are even worse. So horsemanship is kind of a very broad term. It's not just about how you physically pick up a foot or lead or catch or handle a horse. It's your ability to be aware, and to set a situation up to be safe, because I can almost guarantee you that, and this happens all the time, unfortunately, we've been at the barn all day. We've just trimmed 10 or 15 horses. We're kind of ready to, we've got the last one. It's feeding time, buckets are rattling, and it's a baby. So, you know, all of a sudden the big dude leaves because he's been off to it. The stress level is going to go through the roof for this young horse if we change the environment now. So sometimes the order that you do horses in, you know, we usually work on 2 horses at a time. If we finish one before the other, he doesn't get the lead.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless there's a, you know, so let's say we have a 3rd horse to work, bring that one, we'll do a swap around, still 2 horses here while the 3rd one leads. There's always companionship. There's a level of safety there. You know, with this young guy, you know, a lot of times when I work with a young horse, I won't do it when it's tied up. Or if it's a horse I don't know, you know, the first time we've met, you know, we kind of got it figured out. I think he's pretty comfortable. I'm willing to now kind of commit to doing his feet. But I don't know how he's going to deal with smoke. I don't know how he's going to deal with hammering. You know, some horses have weird little quirks. So often the first time I do it, you know what, either he's not getting cross-tied, or it's like, hey, Callie, come and hold him for me so I can burn the shoe on, because I want to make sure that I keep the stress level as low as possible. As you add different layers of stress, smoke, hammering, staying in an uncomfortable position for a prolonged amount of time while you trim the foot, stress level goes up. His tolerance for those things, or to deal with more layers of stress. You know, so I've got him now, he's uncomfortable, I'm holding on, I'm too tense, I add a whole bunch of smoke that gets caught in his blanket and then shifts up under his nose, and pretty quick he's cross-tied, and you know, now we have a situation that's kind of gone sideways. So, you know what, we're going to burn on, untie him, hey, can you, or if I don't have someone to hold him, you know, I'll just hold him myself. You know, I can just come over here and pick that foot up. I work like this. I've got these handy little rope holders, and I can work that way. If he was a bit silly, I might keep it here. So if he wants to leave, I can just stop him. You know, I still have control of him without him being tied up. If it starts to go sideways, then I can just drop the leg and deal with it, but he's not broken anything. So sometimes just your awareness of what could go wrong is as important, and it's more important to notice it before it goes wrong than after. Because, you know, I don't know, I've left a lot of broken halters in a lot of different barns over the years. And, you know, sometimes it just happens, but you always have to answer the question, what happened? How come this halter is broken? You know? So if you try to prevent it through just good, casual, basic horsemanship, it will go a long way to just, and so the horse will anticipate the next time that we meet that, oh, it's this guy, I'm allowed to be relaxed. This guy's not going to yard me around. This guy's really polite. He's sympathetic to my situation. And he recognizes when I get tense, and he allows me to relax. And he gives me a little break. You know, you start, you know, and you'll find this with horses that you work over time, working away, and then he starts to get a little bit more tense. You know, and it's not that he's behaving badly, he's just tighter. You know, I'll just give him a minute. Give him a split back. Let him shift his feet. Let him realize that he's not stuck. Come on. Good boy. Let them prepare themselves. You know, they're just giving them an extra moment to balance themselves is a big deal. You know, because sometimes they get themselves in the most awkward position that they have to maintain. His hind feet are too close together, then you pick up a front one, and you wonder why he's off balance and uncomfortable. So it's so much about just paying attention. If you make him comfortable, he will make you less uncomfortable. And when they behave well, you know, I can get into more with them and make them bad in order to make them good again. But honestly, he's already doing pretty well. You know, it's kind of nice when they buy in and believe in what you are doing. And if he anticipates the next time we come to shoe him that he's going to have a good experience, now you've set a whole different perspective for him and his future farrier work. But if you start throwing elbows around and yarding and holding on and getting too tight and rushing the job to get it done because he's behaving badly, you've kind of set the stage yourself. So, you know, if you recognize those situations, some of the horses that come in here, I'm sure, are not all super awesome to do. But take your time, make them comfortable, find a position that you can deal with, or that the horse can deal with, and it will make it easier, you know. But so that's how I would deal with a mature horse that's mostly behaving pretty well, who's got a few little tension-related issues that aren't really issues. And you know, I'd say I can make them bad and make them pushy, but you know, it's don't fix what's not broken.
I think you accomplished a lot with him. Honestly, like I'm glad that you touched on that, because I find that the ripping the feet is created so much by just dropping the foot. Like, you know, that was huge. If you guys can learn one thing today, that's big.
Just think about being polite and respectful to the horse, because you know we expect them to be polite and respectful, but we don't reciprocate that. So you know, energy is a huge thing, and when you start to recognize tension, recognize it in yourself, and you will recognize it in your horse. And when you can change it in your horse, you have to relax in order to help him relax. You can physically do it. You know, change your position, get under him a little bit, drop the foot, let go of it without letting go of it. Take a sense of, you know, how much tension is in this leg. You know, there he's relaxing, he's giving it to me, he's just kind of holding it up. You know, I've got like one finger holding this foot up. So it doesn't take a lot of effort, but if you have to get in, you know, I got sometimes you got to go right in front of them, so, you know, they're not reefing their foot forward. I'm already creating so much tension that he's not going to be comfortable for very long. So relax. Don't be afraid to relax. His movements will become more deliberate and more confident and just less conflict-oriented. And if you're viewing his actions as evasive, well, how do you think he's viewing your actions? Right? So, hey, good boy.